Exactly.
Let's do this. It's the real Jonathan Smith Show on Indie Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indie Sports Ticket app.
What a weekend. So much going on. We had, USA just kicking Paraguay all over the pitch. On Friday night, Knicks close out the Spurs in 5. The Carolina Hurricanes beat the Las Vegas Golden Knights for the Stanley Cup last night. Just an awesome sports-filled weekend, and I hope you had a great time watching everything that happened. Welcome into the real Jonathan Smith Show. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in. YouTube, X, the Indie Sports Ticket app, 1430 AM. So many ways to listen. There's really no excuse not to. We've got Jake Arthur of Locked On Colts joining the show in 20 minutes. He's going to tell you everything he saw at Colts mandatory minicamp last week. I want to start with the New York Knicks, who are your 2025-2026 NBA Finals champions. I know, Pacer fans, you're sick. That was an excellent Knicks team that went on a great run. There's a lot I liked about the team. As just a basketball fan in general, I appreciate the redemption arcs that we saw from a lot of these guys. Jalen Brunson is a former second-round pick that was deemed to be too small to be a number one option on an NBA Finals team, and he proved all of them wrong. Signing Brunson after he left the Mavericks because the Dallas Mavericks didn't want to extend him to be the next franchise centerpiece was supposed to be like trying to pull a massive luxury trailer with a Honda Civic. The experts said the engine would blow out by May. Instead, Jalen Big Body Brunson turned out to be a souped-up monster truck that just ran over everybody in May and June, including a 7'4" alien. Hey, Chris, you mind putting the TV on Fox so we can watch Spain score some goals against a poor country that's about to get beat like 7-0? Anyway, Karl Anthony Towns, back to the redemption arcs of the Knicks, he was deemed as a soft, losing player by Jimmy Butler and everyone in Minnesota when he was the number 1 overall pick taken there. Okay? And he was vital to their playoff success. OG Anunoby has developed into an awesome NBA player. The reason why he's a New York Knick is because the Raptors didn't want to pay him. He obviously hit multiple big shots in the series, including the game-winning tip-in that capped that 29-point comeback to beat the Spurs in Game 4. OG Anunoby averaged 20 points per game in the playoffs. He's just a legitimately good player now. Mikal Bridges was traded for 5 first-round picks, and whenever Bridges comes up in conversation, immediately it's, I don't, or before they won the finals, it's like, I don't know if he was worth 5 first-round picks. But now he is, because he was a vital part in them winning the finals. Josh Hart's willingness to do the dirty work is cool to see. He was a guy who averaged 20 points a game in Portland, looked in the mirror and said, you know what? If I'm averaging 20 points a game, then that probably means that the team I'm on isn't very good. So he bought into a new role. Let me play hard, defend, and rebound. And you have to love when a player buys into his role. You know, Mitch Robinson off the bench was surprisingly good in the finals despite dislocating his pinky. Jose Alvarado was surprisingly influential in his minutes during the series. Jordan Clarkson went from an off-the-bench 6th Man of the Year candidate in Utah and Los Angeles, where he didn't win anything, to becoming a dirty work guy who could occasionally get you a bucket. Every great movie needs its glamorous A-list stars. For the Knicks, that was Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. But the Knicks won a championship because their stars had excellent stunt doubles. I mean, you guys, diving into car crashes and jumping off buildings so that Jalen Brunson could get the spotlight. Incredible stuff from the role players for New York. And then you got Mike Brown. And, I know that Pacer fans think that, if everybody had been healthy this year, the Pacers would have beaten the Knicks. Like, it was just, like, it's some foregone conclusion. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not sure that they would have. Because Mike Brown did a much better job with this group than Coach Tibbs ever did. Mike Brown got fired in Sacramento for telling the truth about De'Aaron Fox. And he just responded by winning a title in his first year. And I'm sure there's a nice little cherry on top for the fact that De'Aaron Fox wasn't good at all in this series. I think there's a lot to like about this Knicks team. The problem is their fans suck. Chris, I'm not like the smartest guy in the world. You've been in here with me for 2.5 months now. I think you've learned that. I can be pretty dumb.
You're pretty smart, though.
Thank you. Thanks. I have this idea, though. How about we don't destroy a bus after the Knicks win the finals? I don't know if you saw that video.
I did.
How about we just don't do that? How about you just celebrate like normal people, like jump up and down, spray, maybe like spray some like champagne, drink a lot of alcohol, have sex with your wife.
That bus had it coming.
Did it?
I don't know. Apparently it did.
I don't know. How about you just drink and then go to work the next day hungover? Like just be normal.
Not in New York. That's not how it works, though.
That's how it should work.
Yeah, it should. But it's not.
Can we just be normal?
Yeah.
Even though I will say, and hopefully we can get Jared Dubin on tomorrow to talk about this. Being like in your apartment in like downtown New York when it happened, and like being able to like step out on your fire escape to like just look at the streets must have been pretty cool for those people.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. For sure.
So,
once in a lifetime type experience right there, man.
Seriously. Like, and the thing about the Knicks fans that I'll give them credit for, I don't like Boston fans because Boston fans are entitled because the Patriots have been good for so long. The Celtics have been good for most of my life. The Red Sox have won the World Series multiple times in the last 25 years now. And so because of that, they're just like annoying and they're obnoxious because they have like this superiority complex. Whereas Knicks fans, like they haven't seen a title since 1973. It's been 50 years. So from that perspective, I'm not going to give them a break because, again, how about we don't destroy a bus?
Right. And they still could have gone without hurting the Spurs fans. I mean, the series is over. Like, why are we trying to beat up people? Come on.
Man. Just, again, drink your alcohol. If you want to talk some smack to Spurs fans, it's probably good, honestly, that the Knicks closed the series out in San Antonio. Like, if they'd closed it out in New York, I think the scene would have been even worse than what it already was.
I would agree with that.
So, but yeah, just Knicks fans, just be normal. Just be normal. Speaking of normal, Jalen Brunson was anything but normal in Game 5. He was incredible, and he absolutely deserved the Finals MVP. We do this every year where we look for every excuse to not give the Finals MVP to the best player. But when in doubt, like the Finals MVP should just go to the best player. Like Jaylen Brown should not have won Finals MVP for Boston in that 23-24 season. It should have been Jason Tatum because the reason why Jaylen Brown had all those opportunities is because the defense was worried about Jason Tatum. But anyway, Jalen Brunson rightfully and deservedly won Finals MVP after scoring 45 points in Game 5 on the road to send the Spurs packing. Meanwhile, the rest of his team managed to score 49 points. Every other bucket scored came from Jalen Brunson. He went at everybody, and he got whatever he wanted. Whatever he wanted. He figured the Spurs out after Game 2. First 2 games, he averaged, 25 points per game on 34% shooting from the field, 23% from 3, and 88% from the foul line. I would say that's not very good. But then the last 3 games of the series, he averaged 38 points a game on 48% shooting from the field, 52% from 3, and 85% from the foul line. I would say that's pretty good. Okay? One thing that didn't seem to matter, whether it was game 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, to Jalen Brunson, was in the final 2 minutes, he found a way to do what Mike Woodson could never do at IU. He pushed the Knicks over the hump. Every game was the exact same. There were 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter of Game 5 on Saturday night, and I started laughing. And Amelia looked at me and said, "Jonathan, why are you laughing?" Because I was like, this is exactly the same as games 1 through 4. If you had watched the other 4 games in the series, you could see all the signs that the Knicks were going to walk the Spurs down and win in the final 2 minutes like they'd done in 3 of the first 4 games. It didn't matter that the Spurs had a 16-point lead at one point during that game on Saturday night. You just knew it was coming. You were like, all right, where's Jalen Brunson? Where are the De'Aaron Fox pull-up jumpers that are not going to go in? And then they all showed up. Watching the Spurs in the fourth quarter was like watching a classic horror movie. You see the teenager running away. You see the monster moving at a slow, methodical pace. And you just know how it's going to end. The teenager is going to trip over their own shoelaces, and then they're going to cut away as you hear some poor girl screaming. The Spurs kept tripping over their own shoelaces with bad possessions, and New York just slowly and inevitably walked them down, just like they did in games 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the signs were there. The Spurs were relying on De'Aaron Fox over Dylan Harper again. He kept bricking pull-up jumpers. They got away from getting the ball to Victor Wembanyama, or as Skip Bayless calls him, incredible here, Victim Wembanyama. What a nickname. That's awesome. But they were taking all these threes as well. And those were the 3 things that they fell into in every game that they blew a lead in. Sure enough, it would be their demise as well because you have to have a closer. This is the nice thing about the Pacers. They have two. Tyrese Halliburton can close you out. We saw that in the playoff run or, two playoffs ago, and so can Pascal Siakam. Okay? And that was the difference in this series. I thought both New York and San Antonio defended at a high level. Both teams had some foul trouble that impacted some of their decisions throughout the series, whether it was Stephon Castle getting into foul trouble or Karl Anthony Towns. I thought both coaches did a good job for the most part. I'll never understand why Mitch Johnson kept going to De'Aaron Fox down the stretch of the series when Dylan Harper had it going. But outside of that, I thought both teams were well coached. Jalen Brunson's ability to create against tough defense late in games is why they won, and it's why he's the finals MVP. Every time the Knicks needed a bucket, he was the guy who either got the bucket or he created a chance for someone else to score. That's what a finals MVP does. Kevin Durant says it best. He has this quote where he's like, basketball isn't about team chemistry. Basketball isn't about defense. Basketball is about getting buckets. And the difference in the series wasn't the Knicks defense or the Spurs defense. If defense is what won championships in the NBA, the Spurs probably would have won. But that's not what wins titles. Basketball always has been and always will be about buckets. And Jalen Brunson was the best bucket getter in that series. And it's why New York won, and it's why they went 16-3 in the playoffs. And the haters are out because no one likes the Knicks. But let's not act like no one picked the Spurs before the series started. The majority of people picked them. We heard so much about how, whoever wins the West is going to win the NBA Finals. I did it. Going into the series, I was like, yeah, this is like the NFC Championship game, Rams and Seahawks. Whoever wins this series is going to win the NBA Finals. And then I watched one more series in New York and was like, never mind. Let me take the Knicks at 6. Yeah, that didn't happen because the Knicks are a legitimately great team that went on one of the best playoff runs ever. The Knicks were a deserving champion who didn't benefit from weak opponents. They were dominant. The Knicks went 16-3 in the playoffs. That's one of the best records ever. The 3 games they lost by a combined 6 points. They had the largest margin of victory in NBA playoff history. Oh, they didn't play anybody. That's just not true. The 76ers beat the Celtics. Many people, including me, thought Boston would win the East, and the 76ers beat them. The Hawks took more games off the Knicks than anybody else did, so they were no slouch. The Cavaliers have a good team. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals after beating the 1-seed Detroit Pistons, who won 60 games in the regular season. Before that, they beat a tough Raptors team. And then the Knicks beat the Spurs, who were the betting and fan favorite in the series. All those teams just so happen to run into one of the best playoff teams we've ever seen. 16-3 in the playoffs is tied for the 9th best playoffs record ever. The 2016-17 Warriors with Kevin Durant have the best record ever at 16-1. After that, it's the 2000-2001 Lakers at 15-1. Then it's the 82-83 Sixers at 12-1. The 1949-1950 Minneapolis Lakers at 11-2. The 98-99 Spurs at 15-2. The 90-91 Bulls at 15-2. The 88-89 Pistons also at 15-2. The 81-82 Lakers at 12-2. The 70-71 Bucks at 12-2. And then the New York Knicks are tied with 2023-2024 Boston Celtics at 16-3. The Knicks' 16-3 record in the playoffs is better than the 95-96 Bulls, who won 72 regular season games. It's better than the 86-87 Lakers with Magic Johnson and Kareem and James Worthy and all those guys, one of the best teams ever. And it's better than the 85-86 Celtics playoff record, another one of the best teams ever. Those are 3 of the best teams in the history of the NBA, and none of them performed as well in the playoffs as this New York Knicks team is. Now, the Knicks are not an all-time team because they only won 50-something games in the regular season. They were a 3 seed. But it is an all-time playoff run that was headlined by Jalen Brunson. And I get it. We're in Indianapolis. Everyone hates the Knicks. I don't like the Knicks. But I view myself as an objective third party. And objectively, pretty freaking impressive what the New York Knicks did in this title run. Something that will not be anywhere near as impressive is the Colts' upcoming regular season. Jake Arthur of Locked On Colts, he was at mandatory minicamp last week. He is set to join the show in 3 minutes.
If it's in today's sports world, it's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Jake Arthur of Locked On Colts joining the show. You can also read his stuff over at coltsroundtable.io. Thanks for tuning into the show, no matter how you're tuning in, YouTube, X, Indy Sports Ticket app, 1430 AM. Jake Arthur, who was at Colts mandatory minicamp last week, joining us now. Jake, how are you doing, man? How's the yard work coming along?
It never ends. That's part of adulting. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You got dishes, you got laundry, you got yard work. You get finished, and then you remember something else you need to do.
If you had to pick one to do, though, which one are you like, I'll willingly do that one?
I'll do yard work. I mean, that's the one that takes the longest, but that's my thinking time. You know what I mean? That's when I let my mind drift, and that's where all the grand plans come from.
That's right. That's when you're like,
long work.
that's when you're texting Zach Hicks like, I have a bid idea for us to do on Wednesday or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Before we jump into the Colts, are you a World Cup guy?
I'm not. I'll be honest. I guess I'm a football nerd. Football is just about the only thing I occupy myself with sports wise. Otherwise, like basketball, I'm pretty casual. I get my news from Twitter, I guess, when it comes to that.
Oh.
But World Cup, I might know the most general things that are going on.
Did you watch the game on Friday night?
I did not.
Okay. You ruined my first question. That's okay though.
I'm a scrub. I get it.
I'm just kidding, man. Joined by Jake Arthur from Locked On Colts. So what is the biggest thing that you learned from Colts minicamp last week?
Well, I guess it was more of a reaffirmation. But Daniel Jones is going to be just fine, as far as I can tell. Now, I'm not his doctor or anything, obviously. But in terms of just like being ready by week 1, I really have no idea why he wouldn't be at this point. He's doing 7-on-7s, and feasibly could physically be doing 11-on-11s, but there's no need to push him into that right now.
Okay.
So physically he's ahead of the curve. I think he's going to be just fine. So at some point in training camp, I mean, maybe pretty early on, we'll probably see him with a full workload. And then, training camp is like 3 weeks, and you have a week or 2 before the first game. So I think it all is shaping up for Daniel to be available. But then I think some of the rookies are going to play a very important role, which is good because, I mean, they were looking for more youth and athleticism and explosion. And so CJ Allen, I thought, has looked pretty good. AJ Halsey, they keep raving about him. Bryce Betcher is someone who, I mean, they might have to find ways to keep him off this field. I mean, he's looking really good so far. So I think some of the biggest takeaways I've got are that Daniel looks pretty good, and then I think some of these rookies are going to be contributing pretty heavily early.
Let's start with Daniel. So I know you said he looks good. You feel like he seems like he's going to be ready to go for week 1. My question is, like, have you seen him sprint yet? Like, is he doing stuff like that?
Yeah, when practice is over and everyone leaves the field and stuff, he actually gets to work with some of the trainers off to the side, and you can see him running sprints and stuff like that. So yeah, he's full on sprinting and everything. I think like some of the last physical hurdles for him are like just continuing to strengthen up that lower leg. And then there's so much you can plan with rehab for an Achilles, or just really major injury in general. But it's like the unexpected movements and like the sudden change stuff that you hadn't planned on doing. That can be like the thing mentally and physically that you kind of have to learn how to rework that through. And he's acknowledged that. So I think him and his team of therapists are going to kind of work him through the ringer and try and throw just about everything they can at him before he hits the field full time again.
Joined by Jake Arthur from Locked On Colts, talking about Colts minicamp last week. So I really picked up 2 things just from listening to all of the press conferences. One, like you said, everyone loves AJ Halsey right now. I think everyone also loves Ashton Dulin. Like, every time the wide receiver battle came up, everyone's like, Ashton Dulin playing really well. We didn't get a ton of specifics, though, outside of, I guess, he beat Sauce Gardner or something like that. What'd you see from him and just kind of from that wide receiver 3 position battle?
Yeah, I think some of the biggest parts of being like so bullish on him is the attention the team is giving him, really. So Alec Pierce obviously is out for now while he recovers from his ankle. So Ashton and Josh Downs are really like your top 2 receivers right now. So Ashton has got a ton of reps. just with the first team in general. But then he's got a bunch of reps like in the red zone. He's got a lot of targets in the red zone. There was one day, I think Daniel during 7-on-7s hit him for 2 touchdowns in the red zone. And then the next day is when they went over Sauce Gardner on that one play. Now it wasn't just straight up like they actually made a great play, but Sauce kind of explained the next day that he tried to bait Daniel into making the throw that he made. Mm-hmm. It just so happened that I guess Daniel and Ashton executed it to absolute perfection. And Ashton just kind of made a good play jumping over Sauce and wrestling the ball away from him. So it's just been really impressive. He hasn't, from what I can see, he hasn't had any big missteps. He's caught pretty much everything. I think in order to be successful in this offense, you have to be a receiver that knows how to separate. And Ashton, I mean, since he's been a special teams player most of his career, a lot of people don't really talk about how athletic and explosive he actually is. But the guy has plenty of explosion, and you can see he's got the speed and he separates out of his breaks really well. So I think the Colts, Shane Steichen in particular, as a play caller, will be really intrigued by that. And like Nick Westbrook-Akina is fine as like a niche player, and same with Laquan Treadwell. And Deion Burks has like a lot to prove to even like get on the field come the regular season. So Ashton is just like the one who fits the offense the most, and he's the one who has the best mix of being, I guess, mentally ready to handle the workload and physically capable.
That makes sense. Because, I mean, when you think about what it takes to play gunner in the NFL, you have to be incredibly fast. You have to be incredibly strong because you're getting shoved the whole way down the field.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be incredibly tough. And like that sounds like a good wide receiver to me,
Yeah.
And then you throw in the size as well. I think he's like 6'2", probably like 215 ish. So he's the guy that I kind of pegged early on to be the new starter. Joined by Jake Arthur from Locked on Colts. You mentioned Deion Burks has a lot to prove. I'm assuming he ran a lot with the twos during minicamp. What all did you see from him?
I can't say that I've got a ton of takeaways from him so far. I feel like I recall seeing him do more in OTAs. But I think they're just kind of bringing him along slowly. I think special teams will probably be where he initially kind of finds his role, and then he might have the thing where they throw him, like 5 to 10 reps during the regular season per game, until unless training camp gets here and just blowing the doors off of everything. But he's doing some good stuff. I saw him make some kind of tougher interior catches in tight windows that I thought was kind of impressive. But otherwise, we haven't really seen like a huge workload from him quite yet.
Okay. So the other rookies, I know you said that you were impressed by them. Let's start with CJ Allen. Like, obviously guys aren't tackling, and that's the biggest thing that you want to see from a linebacker, but what'd you see from him?
Yeah, so obviously, the run game is what it is right now, but you're seeing him get obviously a lot of reps. I think his range has been really on display. I haven't really seen him, playing from behind and playing catch up anywhere. Like, I feel like he's been pretty well involved, even on plays and coverage where he's lost. But I really like the experiences that he is kind of checking off right now. Cause like, this is not really anything I thought about going into it, but you watch him in practice and you're like, man, he's having to guard like Tyler Warren on these crossing routes and these drags and stuff like that. Like, this guy is really getting like awesome on the job training all throughout the off season. So I thought he responded relatively well. Like, Tyler did get a big play or two on him, which, of course, that's to be expected. But his range is just showing up really well. And I feel like he's communicating well also, which is, that's an enormous part of it. You can't really play freely physically until you understand what's happening around you and what you're supposed to be doing. And that's kind of his strong suit is, his mental acumen and his football IQ. So a guy like that, I remain very confident that he'll be able to contribute very quickly.
You mentioned at the top that Bryce Betcher is going to be a guy that they're going to have to make excuses for to keep off the field. I saw the one interception where Riley Leonard throws it right to him. I'm assuming he did a little bit more than that if you're making statements like that. So what did you see from him that you found so impressive?
Yeah, so that interception last week, it was during 7-on-7, so like you're out in wide open space, but Leonard basically threw an out route, and Betcher, I think, saw it coming the whole way and just closed on it quickly and jumped the route and took it the other way. So that already was impressive because we knew he was good in coverage. So that's kind of another affirmation of like, yep, it's going to be tough not to have this guy on the field and passing downs. But just kind of similar to CJ Allen, where the range is showing up. He always seems like he's in the mix. But what I really took note of with him was what the team seems to think about him. They did a lot of rotating of linebackers through the 1s and 2s throughout the week of minicamp. But from my recollection, other than CJ Allen, the guy who got the most first-team reps at linebacker was Betcher. So that I thought stood out pretty well to me. Now, I don't think that just necessarily means he's going to be, the starting will linebacker as we go through training camp, but I do think the possibility that he wins the job going into week 1 is stronger than I thought it would be. Just because I figured, they probably don't want to start 2 rookie linebackers, but if that's the 2 best players, then it's the 2 best players, So I just think they think a lot of him, and he just keeps finding ways to stay on the field.
Joined by Jake Arthur from Locked On Colts. You can also read him at coltsroundtable.io as well. And then the final rookie. Seems like AJ Halsey's the new Justin Wally. Everyone's just going to sing his praises every chance that they get. I know, like, Lou Anarumo doesn't say anything about anybody, but when he was asked about Halsey, he gave a long kind of answer, or a long for Lou answer on like, he's exceeded my expectations. I know Cam Bynum mentioned like a one-handed interception that he had. What all did you see from him?
Yeah, so I think that interception probably was at a point where we didn't get to see it because we didn't see him make any interceptions. But, I mean, that's the kind of playmaker he is. Like, you knew you were getting that type of guy going into it when you drafted him. But you kind of nailed it. Like, Lou Anarumo doesn't just, like, heap praise on everybody. And for what it's worth, like, they like Jalen Tuamaloau, right, who they took in the 2nd round last year. But they don't go out of their way to say great things. And, they had a tough time finding ways to get him on the field. I've heard from Shane Steichen, I've heard from Lou Anarumo, Chris Hewitt, the DB coach. Like, I've heard from pretty much everybody that they love what they're seeing from him. And like you said, it's very reminiscent of Justin Wally last year. But one thing I really like about it is it's the off the field approach that they really like about Halsey. Like, one of the most important things a rookie can do early on in their career is really like find their like repetition in their day and their routine, basically. And Halsey has found, or he's really kind of leaning into that. Both he and CJ Allen have become guys who are like first in the building type guys, always watching film, taking notes, being in the weight room, asking their coaches and their veteran teammates questions. And that's one way you can kind of hit the ground running and be so impactful when you're actually on the field and make those big, one-handed interceptions and all those things like Bynum mentioned is just, when you study for a test, you just are more comfortable and confident when you're taking it, Yeah. And the work ethic with these guys, they're not really going to be outworked, and they're really physically gifted. So those two things, when they come together, they usually bear some pretty good fruit.
Absolutely. Is there, I don't want to turn this into a thing where I'm just like crapping on players, but do you think that there's any chance that like they saw what happened with Anthony Richardson? Because we've heard all of the off the field issues with him. Do you think there's any chance that they looked at that and were like, you know what? Never again. Whoever we take has got to be guys that we know are real students and will actually show up early and do those kinds of things.
Well, I think they always kind of shoot for that because I do know of certain instances where they have been just totally off put during pre-draft meetings with guys who just aren't invested or don't get it. And I mean, Anthony is a good guy. I just think his work habits changed from when he got to Indy, and he was into it almost obsessively when he got drafted. But after he got hurt, I think things maybe changed a little bit. But just in general, I do think they were intentional about finding strong leadership this year. I actually asked Chris Ballard that when the draft ended, and he said that's just how it worked out. But I do think, they had some leadership to replace because Zaire Franklin was gone, Michael Pittman Jr. was gone, DeForest Buckner, this might be his last year. Like, they need strong leadership in that locker room to replace what they're losing, but also it's just a group that, they need to police themselves a little bit, obviously. So I do think they were intentional about it. You got a lot of team captains, you got a lot of guys who were on like leadership councils and won like off the field awards in college and stuff like that. And just guys who were known for strong work ethic. Like it was a theme throughout the draft. So I would find it really hard to believe they weren't intentional about doing that.
Joined by Jake Arthur from Locked On Colts and Colts Roundtable.io. What was it like seeing this secondary together for the first time?
You have to proceed with cautious optimism. And Chris Hewitt actually said the same thing to me when I was talking to him the other day. That's one of their DB coaches, and he's like the passing game coordinator. But on paper, when everyone's healthy, this group should be outstanding. Like Sauce Gardner is a top 10 corner. Mooney Ward, I mean, he's a couple years removed from his best football, but he hasn't been mentally or physically healthy in a couple years either. And it seems like he's probably in the best place that he has been in currently. But, I mean, you're still getting an above average player when he's on the field there. And then Justin Wally, I mean, he's not going to be as mentally sharp as Kenny Moore is yet, but I think he's more physically capable of hanging in man coverage, So you've got these two guys on the outside with Ward and Sauce. So quarterbacks aren't really going to want to test the boundaries quite as much. So they're going to have to pass inside. And right there you have Cam Bynum, who's a ball hawk coming off of a career high 4 picks. You have AJ Halsey, who that's one of the biggest parts of his game, had 10 interceptions in college. Hunter Wohler knows how to take the ball away as well, really good at forcing fumbles. CJ Allen is really rangy. So you've got this secondary where quarterbacks don't want to throw to the boundaries, so they throw inside, but you've got a bunch of guys who know how to take the ball away on the inside waiting for them. And then I think just this is linebackers, but it still counts as coverage.
Yeah.
You really can't – just about anything is an upgrade in coverage at linebacker. What we saw from Zaire Franklin and Jermaine Pratt was really not okay last year. So now you have CJ Allen, who obviously we've talked about him for the last couple months. Bryce Betcher is really good in coverage. Akeem Davis-Gaither is probably at minimum a tick better than Franklin and Pratt in coverage, So your linebackers got better. You got healthier and more athletic in the secondary. Like, it's hard not to be excited about that. But it's just the injuries. You have to expect that something will go wrong at some point. Maybe that's just, the cynic in me where I'm like, if you just set your expectations low, you can't get hurt. Well,
yeah.
But on paper, it should be a pretty good group.
I'm excited for it. I'm really excited to see what Lou Anarumo does with the group, just because, you don't earn the nickname the Mad Scientist by running the Gus Bradley cover 3 80% of the time,
Right.
And so I'm really excited about that. I think that if someone had never seen Sauce Gardner play and they were like, how good is he? I think I would just tell them to go watch his media from the other day, because when he does his whole explanation of like, yeah, I was a good play by Doolin, but like I was really trying to bait the throw, and it's not a throw that Daniel should have made. Immensely, I'm like, my guy, like, threw a touchdown pass. I would argue you should always make that throw if that's the result. Yeah. And so it was just, it was so funny because I was like, this is just your prototypical corner. And like, because this is really the first time you guys have probably been able to like watch him just because he came on so late last year and he got hurt. Is there anything from him where you're like, wow, man, like this just looks different than everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, he's physically imposing. I mean, he's skinny, but he's tall, right? Like he's what, like 6'2", 6'3". He's long. He moves so fluidly. Like when it comes to corners, you really want to see like how they change direction, like how their hips move and how quickly they can like stop and like what their feet look like. Because if you're in momentum and you can't stop or anything like that, you're toast as a corner. But his stop and start's great. His hips are fluid. But he's smarter than I ever knew he was too. Now that we've had a couple more times to be able to talk to him, he is such a smart corner. And he's one of those guys that goes beyond just like, I know the playbook. He knows the playbook, but he also knows what the offense is doing. And he understands what the guys around him are supposed to be doing. So you can kind of take that to the next level and you can take those liberties like baiting guys into bad throw. Like it's what Kenny Moore used to do all the time. But Sauce Gardner can do it like from man coverage, which is really good. Like, so against Atlanta in his first game with the Colts, he baited the quarterback into making that one throw that he nearly intercepted. You know, he played off a little bit, making him feel like he wasn't going to, you know, be able to be there. And then he broke on the ball and nearly picked it. He had that play with Daniel where Doolin won out, got the better of him. But I noticed him the very next day. He had a couple pass breakups. He baited Anthony into making a throw just like the Doolin one, but he got his hands on it because I recognized it right away from the day before. I was like, oh, he's trying to make it seem like he's closing on the underneath throw, but really he's going to try and do something over the top. And that's exactly what happened. So he's very, very smart. And when you have a guy like that with a great football mind and he's got great size and length and athleticism, like if he stays healthy, I think the Colts will be getting at minimum like a Pro Bowl level corner.
Okay, sounds good. Last thing for you, Jake, and I'll let you go here. We've been really positive. Is there anything concerning that you saw from the Colts during minicamp?
Yeah, I think the edge group is still definitely a concern, which that's unfortunate because it's arguably like this second or third most important group on a football team.
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to dog anyone too bad either, especially before we get to camp. But from what I've seen, it's really been Arden Key as like the other edge rusher opposite of Latu for like the lion's share of the first team reps. And he's just not a guy. He's had like one season in his career going into year 9 where he's been counted on to be like a full-time starter. And on paper right now, it looks like that's what the Colts might be doing with him if Tuamaloau doesn't turn it up or they don't go sign a free agent. So their edge group is in such a place where they're going to be taking a 30-plus-year-old guy and perhaps starting him when he's really never been counted on to be a starter before. So it's like, is he just going to flip some switch that you think in year 9? So that's a little concerning. And then beyond that is that Tuamaloau hasn't shown them enough yet to be even like getting a 50-50 split, even though we've been told it's an open competition there, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting with bated breath, I guess, to see that something changes during training camp and when the pads go on and everything. Because Arden Key is also going to look better than a guy like Tuamaloau without pads. Because Tuamaloau is just stronger and more physical. So when you put the pads on, it might look different. But I had hoped that the competition would be a little stronger at this point because Arden Key is fine as a guy who's like your third rusher. He can get you like 6 sacks, but he's probably not going to be all that great on rundowns. And he's not an elite pass rusher. Now, you weren't going to probably find an elite pass rusher, you know, unless the Trey Hendrickson thing worked out. But it just seems like you're going to have to fly by the seat of your pants at edge rusher this year, which is something everybody yelled for them not to have to do going into the whole thing, you know? So I definitely still have some concern with the edge group.
There's some trades out there. Josh Sweat, Kevon Thibodeau in New York, maybe. I don't know if the Colts have enough to go get those guys, but I heard some murmurs around Joey Bosa. We'll see if that happens or not, but there's still, I don't know how much hope you have that Joey Bosa is going to be awesome. But there's a little bit of hope there.
I'm not a Bosa guy. I don't really buy the Bosa stuff too much.
You don't buy Bosa in terms of if he came here, he'd be a good player, or you don't buy that the Colts would go get him?
I guess a little bit of both. Like, he hasn't been healthy in years, number one.
Yeah.
And he's older. And I think the guy that wrote that article that got everyone talking just threw it out there as like a possibility.
Okay.
I don't think Bosa's real, like, he would probably be on the short list of like potentially impactful veteran edge rushers they could get. But it would be a really big leap of faith to have to count on a guy like that. You might be looking at more of like a Jadeveon Clowney type. He's older as well, but physically, like, he just played good football for the Cowboys last year,
Yeah.
There's no terrific options. Like, the trade market is about as good as it would get right now. But I mean, you don't have a first round pick next year. So do you really want to cough up like a third or something? That would be kind of tough. But yeah, I think right now you're probably just, if you go get another edge, you have to get someone who has started before, but that you don't need to be like a star,
Yeah, and that would be Clowney. I think that's a good call on your part. So, all right, man, I kept you for 30 minutes as opposed to 20, which is normally what we do. So I appreciate you
all good.
Just being so willing to answer all of our questions. Training camp starts in late July. What are you working on up until then?
Yep. So I'll start kind of breaking down each position group and just kind of doing a temperature check. What have they done through the off season? What does it look like they might be, and what could they be? What does each group maybe need to change a little bit to be optimal? But I'll be getting into stuff like that. I'm going to do like an early 53-man roster prediction and stuff. Just some kind of fallout from OTAs and minicamp. I already did a takeaways piece late last week, but I'll do like a roster prediction and just kind of stuff like that too soon.
Okay. Sounds good. Jake, thank you so much for your time, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
You got it. That is Jake Arthur. Make sure you go check out Locked on Colts. Both Jake and Zach Hicks do a great job. They're really good friends of the show as well. You can also read Jake at Colts.roundtable or coltsroundtable.io. We went way too long, but that's okay. The World Cup is in full swing right now. Spain tied 0-0 with the country I've never heard of. Great stuff. We're going to talk a little World Cup in 3 minutes.
may, one day, be a must-listen for sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
Uh-oh. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Yeah. Big thanks to Jake Arthur for staying on the show for as long as he did. Every day of the World Cup, we're going to do a match of the day. I'll be honest, tonight's slate, not great. Match of the day, though, Belgium versus Egypt. That is the 3 o'clock game on Fox. This is the match of the day because Belgium's always good, one of the better teams in the world. We need them to win their group so that they cannot play the U.S. in the round of 32 because Team USA, long story short, if they finish second in their group, which is possible, they'll play whatever team finishes second in that Belgium group, likely going to be Egypt or Iran. So we need Belgium to win that game. Also, Mohamed Salah, one of the most entertaining players, I think, in the world, one of the better wings in the world. He's out on the wing for Egypt. He will be on the ball a lot, and he is electric. So very excited for that later on today. And again, the show today is just filled with stuff. We're doing JonathIN, at 1 o'clock. We are giving away tickets to Holiday World at 2. And we're talking more World Cup. We're going to keep talking finals. Just a million things for us to get to, including producer Chris's sports update.
Thanks, Jonathan. Here's a few stories trending this hour. The Pacers are holding their 5th pre-draft workout today. A stacked list of prospects, including Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn from Purdue, as well as Xavier Lee from Florida. Congrats to former IU standout OG Anunoby, by the way, who won his second career NBA championship when the Knicks closed out the Spurs in Game 5 of the NBA Finals Saturday night. The Indiana Fever won their 3rd in a row when they beat the Connecticut Sun Saturday, 85-75. They are back home preparing for a game with the expansion team called the Toronto Tempo. That's happening tomorrow night at Cambridge Fieldhouse. The Carolina Hurricanes are the 2026 Stanley Cup champions after defeating the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 in Game 6 last night. That's what's trending this hour. More of the Real Jonathan Smith Show and JonathIN, JonathOUT after the break on Indy Sports Ticket 1430.
Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Nick fans, take a page out of OG Anunoby's book. Instead of breaking a bus and all the other nonsense you did after the Knicks won the finals, just do what OG Anunoby does and just go get fried the day after. There's a video of him on Good Morning America, and he looks absolutely gone. That dude smoked a lot of weed this morning or something. It's so funny. Anyway, welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show. Hour number 2 getting underway. Oh man. The NBA Finals were incredible. The World Cup over the weekend was awesome as well. And let's talk about the World Cup. The U.S. men's national team beating Paraguay 4-1 Friday night. I know I talked all week about how I had a birthday party on Friday night, not for myself, for somebody else. I'm a grown man. I don't need a birthday party. And I kept joking about how I was going to use the U.S. men's national team's game to like be able to leave early. That did not happen. Chris, would you like to guess how late I was out on Friday night?
How late were you out, Jonathan?
We didn't leave the party till 11 p.m.
Wow.
I'll be honest, I had a great time.
Good.
Shout out to my friend Haley. We drove to Carmel, where we did a photo and video scavenger hunt. I don't know if you've ever done one of those before.
I have not.
Yeah, so like you have all these prompts and you either have to take a photo or a video. So
Sure.
like we stopped this stranger and said, "Hey, we're doing a video scavenger hunt. Can we sing you happy birthday?" She was very nice and she said yes. What else did we do? We had to like take a photo with a dog in front of this dog day spa thing, something that only Carmel would have, you know? and so like we're like grabbing the stranger, like, "Hey man, you have 2 Dobermans. Can we take a photo with your dogs in front of this building or whatever?" And the man was very nice and he said yes. So we're running around. We did that for like an hour. And then they're like, "Let's go play some pickleball. I'm in the mood to lose to Jonathan." And so that's what we did. Won every game I played. And then we played spike ball because they got tired of losing to me. That's not a joke. That is what happened.
What is spike ball?
It's like you have like a circular net in the middle. And then from there, it's basically volleyball. You have up to 3 hits, and then you have to hit it off the net, and then the other team goes.
Okay.
Very fun. Had a blast.
All right.
Had a blast. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I need you to invite me out to your friends' get-togethers
Wednesday
and birthday
night. Come on,
parties.
man. We're going line dancing on Wednesday.
Let's not start with line dancing.
That
though,
is
because
the best place to start.
let's
Because
start
if you
with
go,
something else.
you'll meet everybody, and they'll be like, "Oh, you work with Jonathan. This is great." I'm telling you, just come out on Wednesday. You don't even have to dance. You can just hang out on the side.
They'd be like, why'd he make you come to line dancing?
There's always people there who don't know the line dance, and so they sit on the side. And then when they know one, then they go out and do it.
Sure.
So just come on through, man.
Makes
It'll
sense.
be great.
All right.
It'll be great. Promise. So I got home basically at midnight and didn't care. Watched it anyway. It's 12:30 in the morning because like, you get home, you got to shower, do all those things. So it's like 12:30. Minute 7 of the game hits, and Team USA scores their first goal, and I go crazy. I'm like, goal! Jumping up, not jumping up and down, but like bouncing in my seat like a toddler, And my wife was like, "Jonathan, I'm trying to go to sleep." I was like, "I'm so sorry." And so, but I had a blast watching the game, and that is the best I've seen the U.S. men's national team play in my lifetime. I would be willing to bet that is the case for a lot of people. Like the amount of precision that they played with was incredible. Like usually watching the U.S. men's national team, it is a stressful and chaotic experience. It's like watching someone try to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. But against Paraguay, masterclass. I mean, they looked like a veteran pit crew executing a flawless 4-second tire change. There's your IndyCar reference for the day. Complete harmony, total precision, And they made a good team because that is what Paraguay is. Paraguay is a good team. All the haters out there who are like, Paraguay is not very good. Paraguay gave up 10 goals in their qualifying matches, and they're coming out of South America. They beat Brazil. I believe they beat Argentina in their qualifying matches. So like that is a good team. Like, obviously they're not Spain, they're not France, they're not those teams. But like, to hang 4 goals on a defense as good as Paraguay is very impressive. Okay, they made a good team look like they were standing still. They made the game look easy. And that's what good teams do, right? In any sport. Like, Patrick Mahomes makes playing football look easy. Okay? Jonathan Taylor makes playing running back look easy. Okay? And that was the thing that I thought really jumped out about the men's national team on Friday night. They just made it look easy. And I think a large part of that, and my favorite thing about watching the match, their best players were always either around the ball, they were making threatening runs with or without the ball. And like Chris Richards, USA's best defender, always seemed to be the one making decisions on how they would attack out of the back. Okay, and he was 83 of 83 on passes. Okay, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, Mark Tillman, Christian Pulisic, Folarin Balogun. I didn't say that right, but I don't care. They all seemed to either have the ball at their feet or they were doing something to threaten the defense. One of the better players, Sergio Dest, needs to be mentioned in that as well. So does Anthony Robinson. But they were always in position. They either had the ball at their feet or they were one pass away. Okay, it was so much fun to watch. And then when Pulisic came off at halftime, it just became a heavier dose of Anthony Robinson and Sergio Dest, who both played spectacularly, just super impressed by them. But no one was better than Christian Pulisic. He was incredible. I hate that his calf got nicked because he was in spectacular form. Okay, that's why he was pulled out at halftime, by the way. He got nicked in the calf. He's fine, more of a precautionary thing. Like, if Team USA, like if it had been tied 0-0 or they'd been up 1-0, I think that they would have left Pulisic on for a little bit longer. But when you're up 3-0, you can afford to take your best player out. In the first half, he completely lived up to the nickname Captain America. That's like that's a tough nickname to live up to. And every time he got the ball, he made something happen. Like, he created their first 2 goals. He only got 1 assist, though, because they don't give assists out on own goals, but he created them. Like, when he split the 2 defenders on their first goal, I was like, yo, that's crazy. But he beat everyone off the dribble. It looked like the equivalent of Dwayne Wade splitting double teams in his prime. It was just like, geez, this guy is on another level athletically than everyone else for Paraguay. And that is the player you and I were promised when this quote-unquote golden generation of soccer was on the rise here in the United States. Okay, Christian Pulisic is a guy who can win and can create chances for his teammates. He's not a goal scorer. Like, that's not, like, if you think that he's going to put up a hat trick, it's not going to happen. Okay, like, that's not what he does. He creates opportunities for everybody else. He is a great point guard. That is what he is. And he passed the ball well. He was incredibly aggressive when he had the opportunities to be. He could not have played a better 45 minutes than he did in the first half against Paraguay. And that has to continue if the U.S. men's national team is going to win their group and if they're going to be the first team since 2002 to get back to the quarterfinals. Okay, Christian Pulisic has to keep creating, and I think everyone's new favorite American soccer player, Folarin Balogun, has to keep on finishing. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. It's one match. I'm trying to contain the elation that I feel just thinking back on that first match. But Folarin might just be the striker we've been waiting for. He might just be. Okay, shout out to the people at the airline that did not let his mother fly home. Chris, I think you'll find this interesting, maybe. For those who don't know, the striker for Team USA who scored 2 goals on Friday night, he grew up in London. His parents are Nigerian. The only reason he is a U.S. citizen is because his mother came here on vacation or something, and she went to fly back home to London. And whatever aircraft she was getting on, they said, you can't board the aircraft. You're too pregnant. So she had to stay here in Brooklyn for another week until she had her son, Balogun, or however you say it. Since he was born in the United States, he is a citizen. And he chose to play for Team USA over Nigeria and England. And I am so glad he did. Striker has always been the weak link of the United States attack. And it looks like they finally got a good one. He's big, he's fast, he's tough, and he can finish with either foot. Like the second goal that he puts top deck, top left corner, off the left foot was incredible. Just insane. Okay, he's a fiery guy as well. He got into some mix-up. I like that. I think that's a good thing. I think you need some of that. And look, it's one match. Again, I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. But this has the potential to be the best U.S. men's national team we've seen in a long time. Like, I don't think that they're going to do what they did in 1930 and finish third. I don't think that that's going to happen. But the attack is very strong. Having Balogun in the middle is a large part of that. Having Pulisic on the wing. I have questions about the defense. I don't think that they're great at goalkeeper. Having Chris Richards available is a big deal. He was, I thought, by far their best goalkeeper. Tim Ream's athletic inability was not on display. Even though he's 38, I thought he played very well on top of that. So, also, very underrated part of this, and very important just because of the weather here in the United States in July. The bench is good. Team USA is bringing guys off the bench that play in Europe. Tim Way started for the U.S. last World Cup, and he's just a lightning bolt, man. Like, when he ran out on the pitch, he's just flying. And then you got Gio Reyna, he is as talented of a player as you will see for the U.S. men's national team. If you need proof, just go rewatch the goal that he scored to close the game. Chris, did you see that?
Probably. I think so.
He kicks it on the outside of his foot and curves. It was absurd.
Talking about the game from Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goal number 4.
Okay. It was on, but again, I was working.
Yeah.
Couldn't really focus on it.
He just incredible goal to close the game. This team is so much fun. They play again on Friday, 3:00 against Australia. Probably the other team in this group that's good enough to win the group. So we'll see how it goes. But I am so stoked to continue watching them. And now we're throwing it over to Chris. Chris is not a soccer guy, but Chris is in charge of a daily 2 minutes World Cup update. You can talk about the stuff that happened the day prior or over the weekend. And you can also talk about whatever's going on right now because games are on all day. So we're going to producer Chris with your World Cup update. If you want to run the patriotic music, that would probably sound good.
I don't know where it's at.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
I wouldn't say it's an update.
Or just your thoughts.
This is like what goes through my head whenever I watch this, okay?
Chris's personal World Cup thoughts.
This is my POV. This is in the mind of Chris while soccer was on, right? So, number one, the national anthem was actually really cool to see.
Yeah.
That was dope. Like the way they raised the flags and they did, the other country, whatever.
I like the flags in the middle. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. My next thought on it was the play-by-play announcer sounded a lot better there than they do when they did the Indy 500, right? I know it's not the same person, but that accent fits with soccer way better than Indy 500.
Agreed.
Okay. What I thought is it would be really cool to see if they were themed, if these games were like themed by country. What I mean by that, like when US plays Australia next week, right? Like they should be able to pull out a snake as a weapon, or
as a weapon.
yeah, or like the US could pull out something patriotic and
He wants
like
to see someone die on the pitch.
yeah, like
They pull out a snake and we have a bald eagle swoop in and snatch it up.
exactly what I'm talking about. That would be super entertaining. To
We
me. Like,
counter your snake with a bald eagle.
right. The US is pulling out their special, eagle, and here comes the Australian alligator or something, crocodile, whatever. But that would be cool. The fans seem to really enjoy it. It looks like a playoff atmosphere. Whenever they go to the fans, they are super excited. I don't know how long the seasons last or anything like that. I'm assuming this is a sort of playoff.
It is, yeah.
Like similarity. Okay. So I noticed that. I also noticed that the ref cam is really cool, and they need that in football.
Oh,
so they have cameras on the referees that run around on the field, and that's really cool to see. I know like football has the over the field, whatever the aerial view on those zip lines, but the ref cams are pretty cool. I thought that was awesome.
Okay. Buzzard wants to know what accent fits with soccer.
Probably Spanish.
What about English?
But like, yes,
I think English.
Yeah, English too, for sure. But I want to like hear English, not Spanish, like because I wouldn't. I know they have like the secondary way to watch soccer is like Telemundo, right? Like that's a given, whatever. Yeah. But the accent wise, Spanish or what we heard in the US game.
English accent with a hint of douchebag. That's what I'm looking for.
Accurate.
That's what I'm looking for.
I would also say that it looks to me like they're playing keep away, right? Like
that is part of it, yeah.
If they were kids when we were growing up, elementary school, we played keep away. That looks exactly like the point of the game. Like, oh, keep it away from this guy. Oh, going over here. That's what it looks like to me, and it looks like it's exhausting because they run the entire time.
So if you get to watch Team USA on Friday, they have two guys. One is named Sergio Dest. The other guy's name is Anthony Robinson. And so they play what's called left and right back. So they're defenders. So like they're on the back line of the defense, but they also push up, and you will watch them just sprint to 70 yards back and forth the whole game. It's incredible.
Okay. So yeah, watching them run around is exhausting. If I had to choose a position that I would play in this, it would probably be goalie, because I'd be into standing around for a while and waiting my, I'm not into all that running.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm cool on that.
When you look at their weights, like Christian Pulisic is like 6'2", 146 pounds. They're all very skinny because, like you said, they run so much. Can I add something to your point on the video?
Sure.
My favorite thing I've seen, it hasn't been a goal. It hasn't been like an awesome pass or like a cool nutmeg. A nutmeg's when you kick it through someone else's legs. Okay. It's like the equivalent of getting crossed in basketball.
Got it.
If you get nutmegged, you should be embarrassed. So if you watched Team USA play against Paraguay, there's a clip where a USA player slide tackles this guy for Paraguay, and the Paraguay guy falls to the ground and like grabs his neck. He flops.
Yeah.
And then
there's a lot of flopping in soccer. A lot.
Yeah. So he does that, and the guy goes to the ground, and they give Tim Ream a yellow card, which is a big deal because yellow cards carry over.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you get two, then you're in trouble. So that happens, and then they show a replay. Tim Ream doesn't touch the guy. Doesn't make contact. And so they have someone like in a booth somewhere else watching all these replays. He sees that, calls down the referee, the one ref, not the people who hold the flags.
Right.
The one ref goes, reviews it on VAR, which is their replay system, and it's like, oh, you flopped. And so they take the yellow card away from Ream, and they give it to the guy who flopped.
Wow.
I was like, NBA, please tell me you're watching this.
Yeah, no kidding. That's pretty cool.
It was a great call. So love that so much from them. Thank you for your thoughts?
Yeah, just a couple other observations.
Yeah, go.
Just
go,
a couple.
Go.
I noticed that they fall down a lot. We were just talking about flopping.
They do.
They fall
They
down
do.
a lot. They seem to have the strongest legs in the world because they're constantly running.
Oh, yeah.
And their trophy looks like a wrapped piece of chocolate in foil.
Hmm.
Like, you know, like the
That's
gold
funny.
coins, whenever they show the trophy on here, it just reminds me of like a chocolate Santa
That's funny.
or Easter bunny. My question, and I think the only question I had, is there overtime? Like in the World Cup, I mean, normally they would go into overtime, right? But like you can't win a match if you go 0-0, right? So what happens if they tie
So
in the World Cup?
So right now, it depends on the stage. So right now we're in the group stage. So if it's tied 0-0 at the end of regulation, they'll play extra time, which is 2 15-minute periods. After extra time is over, if it's still tied, then you draw, and the winner of the group is it's dictated by points. So if you draw, you get 1 point. If you win a match, you get 3. If you lose a match, you get 0.
Okay.
So, but once you get to like the knockout rounds, if it's tied after extra time, you go to a shootout.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I think that's all I got.
Okay, sounds good.
That's it for now.
Okay.
It seems like a good napping sport. Like I could go to sleep and wake up
Well-
and a game is still on and the game is still the same score.
The-
Like
the
I missed
thing-
nothing.
The thing about soccer that I really like about it is like you're kind of like you said, you watch them play keep away, and then all of a sudden like the ball is in the box, and you're just waiting on the one play that kind of opens. Yeah, you're waiting on the one play that opens everything up, and all of a sudden there's a goal. Like I like how quickly the game can change, and so it kind of that's what keeps me on the edge of my seat, right? And so a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to hear you talk about it as well. You will be a soccer fan by the end of by the end of this.
My name's Chris, and this is my first. This is my accent after one day of watching soccer, and then by the end of the week, I'm gonna be like having all the definitions
Yeah, you're
down
gonna
and
be like,
everything.
you're like, you mean you ball for Spain? You know, whatever. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. So.
Cool.
We'll get another Chris POV soccer update tomorrow during the World Cup, and you're gonna get the radio segment taking the world by storm. JonathIN, JonathOUT comes your way in 3 minutes.
The best takes? Maybe. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
If you listen to Chris's soccer POV World Cup update thing, we got to find a better name for that. Yeah, Chris's soccer POV World Cup update thing is not that doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
It's a little long.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, if you listen to that, you have a great opportunity to win Holiday World tickets coming up at 2:00 when we give them away. You just got to name something that Chris said. You can name any of it as I pound my microphone.
Who was paying attention?
Yeah, that's really what it is. And so, we'll see if anyone else can get it. But, that's coming up 2:00, 317-228-1430 when the time comes. But right now, it's time for a little JonathIN, JonathOUT.
Bottom line, are you in or are you out?
What are you talking? In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out.
Okay, well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Okay, then why would you ask me?
Because I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob, and we would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
Good stuff right there. JonathIN, JonathOUT. What'd you have?
I meant to say this for sure, sir. We need to explain this every time we do it.
Oh, yeah.
So for those who don't know, basically JonathIN, JonathOUT, we have a list of all the things that happened over the weekend in the world of sports. Chris has them all compiled, and he very simply asks me, am I in or am I out on this thing that happened or could happen?
There you go. For example, JonathIN, JonathOUT on the U.S. men's soccer team first showing against Paraguay.
I'm all the way in, man. I'm like, I'm borderline like we're winning the World Cup. That's how, which is, that's very hyperbolic, but dude, so in. Like, I had so much fun watching. I think that there's a real chance that they make the quarters for the first time since 2002. That being said, one match, a lot of soccer left to be played. Hopefully they just continue to not be embarrassing, like just don't get embarrassed. Hold your own. That they played really well against Germany a couple of weeks ago, in their final tune-up, and so very, very impressed with them. Can't wait to see how they look going forward.
All right, very good. JonathIN or JonathOUT on the Knicks title.
I'm torn on this one because I have to say I'm out because I don't like the Knicks. Right? I mean, as much as I like the players on the Knicks themselves. Like, an owner as bad as James Dolan has no business. Or wait, no, that's their GM. Who's their owner? Why am I tripping on this? Like, what's his name? Yeah, it is James Dolan. Trust your gut, Jonathan. Let's go. An owner as bad as him has no business winning anything. Like, the reason why the Knicks won the title is because James Dolan decided to go build the Sphere in Vegas. That never happens. He continues to have his hands way too in the mix. And the Knicks are never good because of that. So it bothers me that an owner that bad to win something.
Fair enough. All right. I can relate to that too. I feel that. JonathIN, JonathOUT on Wemby not shaking hands and his post-game comments. You heard that, right?
About
whenever Wemby, he like basically got up and walked out of the post-game.
Talk to you never?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Enter out on
I
his
like
reaction.
it, man. I'm in. And the reason why I'm in is one of the complaints that I hear about the NBA is, these guys are all friends now. Like there's no real animosity towards each other like there was back in the 90s, And now we get Wemby, who's upset that he lost, which I think is a good thing. Like, if you show me a sore loser, I'll show you somebody who really cares, And now everyone's like, oh, he's classless. Like, I can't believe that he wouldn't do that. No, I'm glad he didn't. Be mad that you lost. You should be upset when you lose the NBA Finals. So, yeah, I'm totally in on that.
JonathIN or JonathOUT on picking a non-USA team to root for in the World Cup.
I'm out on it until Team USA is eliminated. But like, I'll be honest, as soon as Team USA is eliminated, if the Ivory Coast is still playing, go Ivory Coast. Let's go. Let's get it rolling.
All
Big
right.
win yesterday over the Ecuadorians. I'm assuming is how you say that.
It sounds about right.
Yeah. Let's or is it like the Ecuadoriites?
I don't know. Maybe we can get some specifics on that. I don't know. I don't know. Jonathan or JonathOUT on 22-minute long videos explaining why what you're doing isn't wrong.
For those who don't know, that is a reference to Texas Tech, their AD, head football coach, and their leading donor releasing a 22-minute video on why it's okay for them to play Brendan Sorsby. By the way, Big 12 sued Texas Tech today. So I'm out, man. If it takes you 22 minutes to explain why what you're doing is okay, then you're, what you're doing is probably not okay. I don't think it takes a genius, where it's like, if your mom looked at you and said, why didn't you empty the dishwasher? You said, well, mom, she would probably, from mom on, she would give you 20 seconds to give her a good excuse. And if you couldn't do it, and it was my mom, she would, whip your bottom. I don't know how your mom was, Chris, but like, you had 20 seconds for a good excuse. 22 minutes, she would have whipped me just for talking that long.
Yeah, same here for sure. Same here, my friend. Was that it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
it.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, JonathOUT on the UFC fights on the White House lawn. I'm not sure if you saw that yesterday.
Oh, yeah. I'm in, dude.
You like it?
I love it. That is, as dumb as it sounds, that is America. We
Okay.
can do almost whatever we want. That is like the whole point of freedom is like, if we want to have two men in their underwear trade blows on the White House front lawn, we can absolutely do that. And it's something that uniquely makes us America. No other country would do this. Like, could you imagine a UFC fight in front of the Buckingham Palace? No.
Fair enough.
Because English people are too cool for that, right? Could you imagine a UFC fight in India in front of the Taj Mahal? No.
I mean, yeah, the closest we ever got to that was like Street Fighter, right? The video game. That's about as close as we got to anything like what we saw yesterday.
And so I think it's one of those things that makes America very unique, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. So yeah, I'm in on that.
Fair enough. Dude, you have to promise me that you'll watch Idiocracy this week, the movie, because I swear yesterday, all of that was something out of that movie. It's the way the world is going, I guess. But some of you at home might have seen that movie. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, JonathOUT on fans cleaning up stadiums after games. I'm sure you saw the video of, Jameis Winston helping out in Dallas, helping the fans pick up the stadium after the game was over, like trash and stuff. Do you think, like, let's say Lucas Oil Stadium after a Colts game, you think in or out on fans sticking around and helping pick up when the game's over?
This is in. Let's start there. In. I don't feel like this should like really even be a question, because I saw that, like you said, the Japanese team and Jameis Winston. Like, why are we having to beg people to pick up after themselves?
True.
Like, just if you just left everything better than you found it, everything around here would be a lot nicer. Homeless guy.
I agree.
Don't leave dirt where you laid.
Well, I thought you were going to say, like homeless guy come in and help, clean up or whatever.
I'm just making a dumb joke. Sorry.
No, I get it. No, that's fine. So you're in. I am also in on that. In or out, JonathOUT on fans sharing experiences from games. And what I mean by that is like, because when people come to me with a concert, right? I just went to this and here's my entire experiences. Are you in or out when people come up to you and try to tell you about their experience from the game that they went to last night?
I'm in on that.
Okay.
I like hearing about that. Especially if it's something unique. Like if it's, oh man, I went to the Pacer game last night and I got a pretzel and they won by 7. Like, okay, thanks, man.
I
But
know.
if it's like, Jonathan, dude, there was almost a fight behind me at the game last night. Tell me that story.
Okay.
I want to hear about that.
Perfect. That's
You know,
fair. That's the answer we were looking for.
or like if you're going to see a player that I've never seen, like if someone got to go watch the Pacers and the Spurs, they're like, Jonathan, like Victor Wembanyama walked out on the floor, and I was sitting in like the upper section, but not the nosebleeds, and I felt like I was staring him in the face. He's so tall.
Sure.
Like, tell me that. Like, that's cool. You know. So yeah.
Cool. I had to ask. We had Jelly Roll and Post Malone in town over the weekend at Lucas Oil, and Saturday, countless people come up, tell me the entire show, and that's awesome. I'm glad you had a great time, but give me cliff notes. You know what I mean? So I was wondering if that was the
Yeah.
same in the sports.
It's
world
like
too.
Dan used to talk about how everyone has kids, and so like don't tell them about your kids. But like I'll take some cliff notes on your kid.
Right.
That's about it though.
Yeah.
I don't need like a play by play of the 7-pitch at bat that he had in T-ball the other day.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
it's like yeah, he's playing T-ball right now. Likes to make dirt mounds in the outfield. Okay, great. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so he's a normal T-ball player. Great.
Good.
Love
yeah.
that.
Okay. So you're in with limitations.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Last one I have for you today is just a random one I just came up with. JonathIN, JonathOUT on cartoon theme restaurants. And I asked this because there was a story over the weekend reporting that there is going to be a pizza place somewhere in Indiana themed after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
That's
It's going to be a
cool.
Ninja Turtle themed restaurant.
I
with
like that.
pizza.
I
You're
like
in
that.
or out on cartoon themed restaurants.
It depends on the theme. So in with limitations. Like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizza theme restaurant's a great idea.
I think so too.
But if your cartoon themed is Scooby Doo, and everything that we give you is a mystery, pass.
Stay away from the edibles.
No mystery meat. I'm good. No thanks.
Very good. That's JonathIN, JonathOUT for Monday, June 15th.
There you go. There you go. Always fun. Love the ones at the end. They're a great time. You asked me about Wemby, and if I was in or out on him not shaking hands. Victor Wembanyama fell short in his first NBA Finals appearance, and his post-game handshake snub just birthed the league's newest villain. While the generational talent proved that he's special, because he absolutely is, I'll explain why this heartbreaking loss is exactly what the NBA needed in 3 minutes.
If it's in today's sports world, it's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
You say mountain goat racing?
Yeah, for the Brendan Sorsby bet of the week on Friday.
Sorry.
You know?
Sorry.
All right.
Threw me off.
Victor Wembanyama loses in the NBA Finals along with the one and only San Antonio Spurs. And Victor Wembanyama losing in the NBA Finals was the best thing for the NBA. If he had shown up and just started winning everything, there's no story. And as much as sports fans say they hate narratives, narratives are literally what drive all sports. So I don't believe you when you say that. If Wemby just swept through the league in year 3, the NBA would have become a predictable superhero movie where the good guy wins the fight in the first 10 minutes. Boring. Could you imagine a 10-minute Superman movie? Please. Instead, the Knicks gave him a proper comic book villain origin story. He got beat. He got bitter. He skipped the handshakes. And now everybody wants to buy a ticket to see him get knocked down again next year. He's viewed as an arrogant and dirty player. He didn't shake hands after losing, so he's viewed as classless as well. Every sport does better when there's a villain. Some of the best years of the NBA came when LeBron James went to Miami and everybody hated him. When the best player in the world is not liked, it is fun to root against them for some reason. And that's what's going to happen next year. And he obviously, has a chance to spoil all that and will have a chance to redeem these playoff scars that he's now picked up. First, though, he has to improve his offensive closing ability. Down the stretch, the Spurs had to rely on De'Aaron Fox instead of Victor Wembanyama because Victor Wembanyama is not a polished enough offensive player. I don't think you can be the best player in the world when your team knows they can't rely on you down the stretch for big buckets. Some cars are good for a spin around the block. Others are good enough to take you on a family road trip. Your best car is the one that can take you on a family road trip, even if it's not as attractive as the one that you take out for a fun spin every now and then. Wemby goes out for a fun spin every now and then. We'll have like a 3-minute segment. You're like, man, like everything's working. He's making shots. He's finishing at the rim. They're finding him when he rolls. But when he's really needed and they need to ride him to the finish line, he's not reliable enough for that. Okay? His go-to right now is rolling to the basket. It's not the most reliable thing, as we saw in that final series. He struggles to self-create, and you have to have that somewhere on your team if you're going to win the finals. De'Aaron Fox was not good enough at that for the Spurs in these playoffs, and he's taken a lot of heat for that. But he shouldn't have to be that guy. The supposed best player in the world should be your closer. Victor Wembanyama needs to get with Tim Duncan this summer. The Spurs won titles with Tim Duncan because he defended the rim at a high level, and when they needed a bucket, they could get him the ball on the left block, and he would go glass, and you knew he was going to score. Victor Wembanyama needs to get with Dirk Nowitzki, like OG Anunoby did last offseason. He can teach him how to score from the elbows and the foul line and how to kind of slow down a little bit. He's got to develop some sort of a go-to spot / move. Right now, Wemby's offensive game is like a hyper-advanced Swiss Army knife. He's got a million like flashy tools. He's got like a magnifying glass and a corkscrew. But sometimes you just need a reliable heavy-duty axe. When it's late in the fourth quarter and you're stuck in the woods and your team hasn't scored a bucket in 4 minutes. Tim Duncan had the bank shot. Dirk had that one-legged fadeaway. Wemby needs to find his metaphorical axe this summer. That is the biggest thing for him to develop in this offseason. We'll see if he does it or not. Because when you play in the finals, it's a short offseason. It's a short offseason. Like, they've got 2 months and then, like, they're back at it. Okay, so we're going to see if he figures it out or not. But part of why Wemby is now a villain is because he didn't shake hands with New York after they lost. And I love that. I like that Wemby didn't shake hands. I think he has a right to be upset after he lost the NBA Finals. I see people complain about how athletes are too buddy-buddy nowadays. And then when a guy is not buddy-buddy, they complain about that as well. So please, people, just tell me what you want. Hey, I like that Wemby's a sore loser. If you're not a sore loser, then you probably don't care that much about winning. Show me a sore loser, and I'll show you a guy who cares and is hyper-competitive. That is who Wemby is, and that is a good thing. That is what we want from our NBA superstars. We want them to be competitive and a little arrogant and those kinds of things. And he's got all that. And I'm interested to see how much better he's going to be next season when he comes back from another summer. Instead of training with monks, he's going to go train with samurai. I don't know if that's true or not, but that would totally be fitting for him. Okay, and right now, Wemby is getting ripped for several reasons, not shaking hands, blowing all these leads, missing free throws. Can I just say that it's okay that he didn't win the finals at 22 years old? I know they were favored, but Magic Johnson's really the only young guy to ever win quickly in the NBA. And right now, Wemby should be a senior in college. That's the reality of it. And the only reason why Magic Johnson won the NBA Finals at such a young age, because he had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on his team and a bunch of other really good players. Most stars don't make the finals their first time through the playoffs, let alone win the finals. Okay, he's got his playoff scars now, and now he's ready to win. Everyone knows there's a difference between the NBA regular season and the NBA playoffs. You can know that, but until you experience it, like, you don't know what to expect. Okay, it's like going ziplining. When you go ziplining, it's like, you know what it is. You know, you're flying at 60 miles an hour over trees and all these things. And, like, you can know that, but until you do it, you don't realize the thrill that it actually is. Or maybe it terrifies you. I don't know how you feel about heights. Chris, you a big ziplining guy?
Nope.
Oh, have you ever been?
Nope.
You got to go. It's fun.
Nope.
It's a blast. It's a great time.
Sorry.
Amelia and I want to go do, I think the longest and fastest zip line in the United States is in Alaska. And Amelia and I are trying to go
Cool.
because I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Well, it'd be fun.
There's one in Canada. Last note on zip lining, and then we'll get back to the Spurs. There's one in Canada. They lay you flat, like on your belly. It's the fastest zip line in the world. You go like 110 miles an hour down this mountain, and you're just,
Yeah, that's a hard no.
you're like a crackhead running, man. You're moving. You're moving. Yeah. So anyway,
have fun with that.
Back to Wemby. You can know about something, but until you experience it, you don't know what to expect. 7 of the Spurs' top 8 scorers this year had never played in a playoff game before. This is what was supposed to happen. I know that Wemby choked from the foul line in a couple of games, and he disappeared down the stretch. That's what young players do. It's why young teams don't win the finals. They let the moment get to them because they've never been in the moment before. Wemby's going to be fine going forward. And he's going to lift the Larry O'Brien trophy probably multiple times in his career, but at least once. I'm interested to know if he's going to do it while De'Aaron Fox is his teammate. What are the Spurs going to do with this, with this veteran that was supposed to calm everybody down, but looked every bit as lost as the young guys did in the finals? The Spurs gave him a huge extension that is not kicked in yet. I don't know what team out there needs a point guard that can't shoot threes. They might be stuck with him. And that'll make it tougher on them to build around Wemby in this first and second apron era of the NBA, especially when you realize the Spurs need more depth. They only had 7-ish players they could play in the playoffs. They only had 4 players that you could really, legitimately trust. Wemby, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and Julian Champagnie. Everyone else was up and down or just down. They had 7 players on their roster that you knew had no chance of surviving in the finals. That's too many. Okay, like they shouldn't have 3 roster spots dedicated to Mason Plumlee, Kelly Olynyk, and Bismack Biyombo. 3 roster spots for 3 centers that you knew were never going to see the floor unless catastrophe struck is not a good thing. Okay, that's a problem because now you're having to rely on, Keldon Johnson, Luke Cornett, and Carter Bryant for minutes when none of those 3 players were reliable the entire playoffs. They also needed more size beside Wemby. Deploying, this small lineup in the finals was an awful idea. It was like building a beautiful mansion, but making the foundation out of toothpicks. Sure, you've got this giant high-tech roof in Wemby, but if the wind blows too hard on the perimeter, the house collapses because there's no structural support under the glass. Wemby and 4 guards, which is basically what the Spurs win 90% of the time in the finals, is just not a great lineup. It's not a good rebounding lineup. You're asking Wemby to defend everything at the rim, which he can do. That's a lot of miles on a really big guy. He would benefit, and the Spurs would as well, by having more size beside him because they didn't have any outside of Wemby. They didn't have any reliable power forwards. Everyone that played for them in the finals was either a center or a guard, and that is not what you want on a finals roster. You need options. Mitch Johnson is taking a lot of heat, and rightfully so. To be fair to Mitch Johnson, he didn't have very many lineup options outside of a 4-guard lineup with a center. The Spurs are going to be better next year just because they're older, but they do need to add a couple of things as well to make that roster better. So this is going to impact the Pacers because the NBA is a living organism. It evolves and it changes every single year. So I want to highlight some of the tweaks that the Pacers have to make after watching the Knicks beat the Spurs in the NBA Finals. We'll do that right after we give away Holiday World tickets, 317-228-1430. That's the number if you want to call in now. 317-228-1430 is the number if you want to win some Holiday World tickets. We're asking you what Chris learned from his World Cup watching over the weekend. If you can give us one, we'll call it good. We'll do that at 2 o'clock, and then after that, we'll talk about how these finals impact the Pacers. But first, Chris, is your sports update.
Thanks, Jonathan. Here's a few stories trending this hour. The Pacers are hosting their 5th pre-draft workout today. A stacked list of prospects, including Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn from Purdue, as well as Xavier Lee from Florida. The Indiana Fever won their 3rd in a row when they beat the Connecticut Sun on Saturday, 85-75. Excuse me. Sophie Cunningham was the ultimate closer, scoring 11 straight points in the final 2 minutes. They are back home, preparing for the game with the expansion Toronto tempo tomorrow night. And a surprise announcement this morning, IU and North Carolina announced that they will face off in a high-profile preseason charity exhibition game on October 18th. That happens at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Denny Hamlin started from the pole position and won the Great American Getaway 400 at Pocono yesterday. Tyler Reddick finished 2nd. William Byron was 3rd. Of course, NASCAR comes to town next month for the Brickyard 400, July 26th. Don't miss that. That's what's trending this hour. More of the Real Jonathan Smith Show and Holiday World tickets after the break on Indy Sports Ticket 1430.
Let's do this. It's the real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Hour number 3. Show's flying today.
Yeah.
Hour number 3 of the real Jonathan Smith Show getting underway. Spain and a country I've never heard of just drew. Plus 1,100 odds on that. So I'm sure someone bet it. Pretty insane stuff there. Joined now by caller Luke, calling in, hoping to win a couple of tickets to Holiday World. Luke, what's going on? How are you doing?
What's up, Jonathan? Good to hear your voice, except not on the radio, but through my phone.
I know, man. I know. This is my good buddy Luke calling in, which is awesome. Luke, I'm trying to get my producer Chris to come line dancing with us on Wednesday. So before we jump into the ticket stuff, will you formally invite him? That way he'll come.
Yeah. So Chris, you were most definitely invited, and you guys do a lot of funny segments on this show. But if you want to see something real funny, you'll get to lay your eyes on Jonathan on the dance floor.
Noted. We'll make it happen. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, dude, Chris, I'm telling you, it's a blast, and then we'll all show up at karaoke.
That's what I'm talking about.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be great. All right, Luke. So I know you listen. I don't know if you caught this earlier or not, but today we don't really have trivia questions. We just want to know: can you name one of Chris's observation from his recent plunge into soccer?
He did notice that the trophy looks like chocolate in foil.
That is correct.
Which is a great observation.
Does it not? Am I wrong though? It looks like a like the hollow Santas and Easter bunnies, whatever you get at holidays. That's what the World Cup, whenever they show it, the score and all that, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. I'm not a big soccer guy either, so I thought that was a great comp.
They're playing for chocolate. I knew it. Look at that right there.
I mean, it is a great observation. It does look like that. I don't like that it looks like that. Now that you said it, but Luke, you're not a soccer guy? That's kind of surprising.
I didn't watch a single second of the game. It may be very un-American of me. I think I need to watch once they get out of this group stage or whatever you call it. But
yeah,
some of the helpful tips you were given last week of how can USA advance, like that was all new knowledge to me. I felt like an idiot.
No, I mean, to be fair, like this is my job. That is the goal, you know? Not to make people feel like idiots, but to give them a little context.
Well, I'm not sure we've ever needed to know these things up until now, to be fair. I mean, because it's been what, like 22 years or something since they were good enough to be in this or something.
Yeah, they weren't very good the last time around, but this is supposed to be the year. So so Luke, I know you didn't watch on Friday because you were too busy losing to me and pickleball. It was great.
Yeah, this is crazy. Wait, let me stop you right there. This guy is saying that we just stopped playing because we were tired of losing to him. It literally got too dark. We couldn't see the pickleball.
It did. It did get too dark.
That sounds more accurate than whatever Jonathan said.
Audacity to say that's what happened. He said that multiple times. That's what happened.
Well, I mean,
we did lose. I'm not gonna.
To be fair, we were playing, and you and Matt were like, we need to play spike ball. That way we have a chance to win something. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. That's probably.
Yep. And then he beat me and my wife.
Yeah.
That sounded bad, but he beat me in the game. Me and my wife in the game.
Yeah, it was a good time though.
Jonathan likes to pat himself on the back a lot here, so.
Okay.
Good. We need more.
You're one of the most humble guys I know. What are you talking about?
We need more of his friends to call in to tell us how it really went down.
Oh man, I mean, you're right. Yeah, fair enough. I have no other words to really follow up with that because you guys are both right. I am the most humble guy you guys know. All right, Luke. So we ask, everybody. I'm assuming you're gonna take your wife, or you could just go by yourself twice. Which one are you going to do?
That is a good point. I'll definitely take my wife.
The fact that he had to think about it.
We'll see when it's an immediate answer. I was trying to come up with something funny, if I'm being honest. Nothing came to the dome.
All good.
It happens.
Right? I may take Joan, actually, Jonathan.
Oh.
I may take Joan.
Jome, great guy. Great guy. Chris, do you know who Jome is?
No. Should I know who he is?
Joe Mama, boy.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Thanks, Luke. Appreciate that.
He got me with that yesterday. Don't even worry about it. All right, Luke. I know Amelia and I are going to some point. I think we're taking a couple of our other friends too. So if you guys want to go with us, we can we can figure that out. All right.
Yeah, sounds great.
I don't want to hang out with you guys anymore if you're going to say Joe Mama jokes all the time.
Last thing for you, Luke. I know you're a big Pacer guy. What do you want to see them do after watching the Knicks win the finals and seeing the problem that Wemby's going to be?
I want to see them. I want the Pacers and the Knicks to face against each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I want them to absolutely demolish the New York Knicks. It doesn't even have to be 4 games. It doesn't even have to be that.
Okay.
But the mayhem that has been in the streets of New York it's put a burning sensation in my heart. And I just can't stand it. Just knowing that it took Halliburton tearing his Achilles to give them their championship. Just brutal.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm excited for next year. I love Zoo. We need a backup shooting guard, but outside of that, I feel pretty good about the Pacers next year.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. I'll see you tonight at Gospel Guys. That's the plan at least. So yeah, man. Thanks for calling in. Hang on the line with Chris. We'll grab your info so that we can send you those tickets, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you, buddy. That's my boy, Luke Smock, calling in, winning a couple of tickets to Holiday World. We're giving away more tomorrow. The plan right now is to give them away at 1. It'll just kind of depend on what time we have guests. So I think Otter Creek called in as well, trying to win some tickets. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we will hopefully give away more tickets to Holiday World. So the Indiana Pacers are currently, in just a state of anticipation, right? Because the Pacers are going to have a real chance to hoist the Larry O'Brien Trophy next year. Tyrese Halliburton's back. They made a big trade to bring in Ivica Zubac. They've got space to make a couple more moves as well. They'll add a backup guard to replace Benedict Mathurin. I would assume we'll see if they're as good as Mathurin. Probably won't be. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see if they look to add another center as well. Because I don't think that the backup centers are great right now behind Ivica Zubac. And either way, no matter what they add in the offseason, they're going to be good next year. And as long as Caleb Wilson, AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson, or Cam Boozer don't fall to the 5th pick, it's not really going to matter that they didn't have their first-round pick this year. Darius Acuff or Keaton Wagler, we're not going to push the Pacers over the hump. Okay? The NBA has also changed since last year, and it's going to change again this offseason. Okay? How much better are the Spurs and Wemby going to be next year? And do they have the right big man, the Pacers, do they have the right big man to defend Wemby? If they see the Spurs in the NBA Finals, what's kind of weird is Miles Turner's actually a kind of a good option to defend Wemby, 7-footer, moves well, doesn't commit dumb fouls. Very similar to Cat in that regard, minus the dumb fouls that Cat commits. So I don't know if Zubac is quite mobile enough in terms of the guy that you want to defend against Wemby. I think Pascal Siakam's a little small, and Wemby just eviscerated smaller defenders all playoffs. Like, you have to have a mobile 7-footer on the floor against the Spurs, and I don't know if the Pacers have one right now. But look, that's only a problem if they see the Spurs in the finals. That may not happen. Okay, I equate Wemby a lot to Shaq in terms of when Shaquille O'Neal played, you needed 4 centers on your roster just so you could have 24 so you could have 24 fouls to kind of throw at him, right? Whereas Wemby, like, you need a very specific kind of center to defend Wemby so that, so he's not crushing you all series. So we'll see if they make any moves to address that, because I just don't know if Zubac is that kind of guy, right? From there, look, the Knicks now have to be regarded as a real threat. I know that the Pacers beat them in 2 long series, the 2 years before this year, but they are undeniably better now. They are undeniably better now. Okay? Mike Brown is a better coach for them than Coach Tibbs was. I think that's obvious after this run. Knocking off the defending champions is never easy, especially when they're bringing everybody back. Landry Shamet is the only guy who may not return, but we'll see. Mike Brown clearly valued him throughout the season and the playoffs. I think the Pacers need to make one or two moves to be able to compete with the top of the East. And you also have to hope that Tyrese Halliburton is as good as he was on the finals run last year. If he isn't, then the Pacers aren't getting back to the finals next year. That is the most important thing. You know, adding a backup shooting guard, adding a backup center that's a little more mobile than Zubac. Those things come secondary. And there's also a wild card in all of this. And this is, I think, the real reason why the Pacers need to make a couple of moves this offseason to win the East. The wild card in all this is Giannis is going to be traded to a team in the Eastern Conference. That is going to happen. And that changes things for the Pacers as well. Again, the NBA is a living, breathing organism. Okay? The Eastern Conference was, already a dangerous neighborhood. But adding Giannis to a contender is like dropping a Godzilla right in the middle of downtown. Suddenly, whatever structural plans the Pacers had for their roster don't matter if they don't have the heavy artillery required to stop a 7-foot monster from stomping through their defense. Look, if Boston gives up Jaylen Brown for him, then that makes Boston better. Boston will have 2 of the 8 best players in the world on their team. I thought one of the big reasons why they lost to Philly in round 1 is they took too many threes. And when you have Giannis, no longer a problem. Him and that spacing, watch out. If he goes to Miami, that just adds another contender to the Eastern Conference. Power is going to shift towards wherever Giannis ends up. He's probably not going to be here, just saying. So because of that, he might still be the best player in the Eastern Conference. I get it. Everyone has to say that it's Jalen Brunson right now because he just won the title. But if you give me the option between healthy Giannis or healthy Jalen Brunson, I'll take healthy Giannis. Thank you very much. So that's going to impact the way that the Eastern Conference looks next season. Okay? The Pacers have their work cut out for them. Between the Pistons, who won 60 games this year, the Cavaliers, who made the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since, LeBron left, and the 76ers as well. They could potentially come back better as well. So all 3 of those teams are probably going to come back better. The Orlando Magic hired a new coach. We'll see if that helps. But the Pistons and the 76ers have young players that are actively developing right now. The Cavaliers are going to be able to spend a full year playing together. The Magic have a new head coach. Then you have to worry about the Knicks, Celtics, because you know that they're going to be good, just given what their rosters look like right now. And then you have to worry about wherever Giannis goes. It's a very tough path through the Eastern Conference next year. And I can't wait to watch the Pacers try to battle through it because they're that they're going to be well coached. You know that they've got one of the 12 best players in the world in Tyrese Halliburton if Tyrese Halliburton is healthy, or if he's the same guy he was before he got hurt. We'll see if he is or not. I hope that he is because I think he's a stud. But the Pacers have their work cut out for them. Look, you have to trust in Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan and the rest of this front office simply because they've given us no reason to doubt them. The way that they've built this team, it's been incredibly impressive, and I can't wait to see what they wind up doing. It looks like Braden Smith worked out for the Colts, worked out for the Pacers today. We'll see if he ends up getting drafted or not. The NBA draft is right around the corner. That was
on my news update, bro.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Trey Kaufman-Wren also worked out today.
Do you know when the NBA draft is?
Not off the top of my head. Isn't it later
it's
this
coming
month,
up? It's June 23rd.
Okay, so
we're 8 days away.
Hey, something else.
Let's go.
We're gonna have a draft next
We were talking
week.
about that. When people ask me, Jonathan, what teams do you root for? The answer is I root for the show. And so you better believe game 5, I was at home like, come on, San Antonio, don't blow this lead. I need 2 more days of content. Please.
Yeah.
So there you go. We got more content. Hallelujah. So yeah, I can get my AJ DeBonta takes off. It'll be a good time. I don't worry about it. I got it. So, but there you go. Very, very intrigued to see what the Pacers do. The Pacers could also potentially trade into the draft. Do I think they're going to do that? Not really, just because with all the guys going back to school, I don't think that the second round is really worth it anymore, unless they really like a guy like Malik Thomas. But then again, if Malik Thomas is probably going to go in the first round. So we'll see if that ends up happening or not. Chris, you have thoughts? What's up?
I was wondering if you heard something. So, and of course it has to do with Danhausen, right? So like, I don't know if you had heard the victory parade that they're going to have in New York. Danhausen has received an invitation per Bleacher Report
Is he really?
to join the New York Knicks on their parade.
That's awesome.
Whenever they have it.
He should.
Cursed.
As long as he's supporting the Knicks, I don't think I want the Pacers playing them.
He should absolutely do it.
Yeah.
He should absolutely do it. That'd be awesome. That'd be, the WWE is going to make him do it. That's probably what's actually going to happen. But,
I mean, because they had the thing with Tyrese and Brunson and the wrestling thing before. And if they come up with some kind of partnership next season, Eastern Finals with the Knicks and Pacers, if that was to happen, I could see WWE jumping all over that.
there you go. Hey, they should. It'll be a great time. It'll be a great time. All right. We got the match of the day in the World Cup starting here in about 43 minutes. Chris, do you remember what the match of the day is?
Is it Egypt and Belgium or something like that?
Yes, it is. Kevin De Bruyne lining it up for Belgium. Can't wait to watch. Dude, he's a beast. He's just like this incredible facilitating forward. He's unreal for Man City. Anyway, that game starts in about 42 minutes, and I'm going to tell you why. It's the match of the day. May have already spoiled it a little bit, but that's okay. I'll tell you why Belgium and Egypt is the match of the day in 3 minutes.
may, one day, be a must-listen for sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Do you have friends who listen to the show, Chris?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes.
Does it ever feel weird? It's like, like my dad's watching right now. I'm like, I got to be careful what I say now. I can't curse anymore.
No.
I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a joke.
I get it. My friends know that I'm pretty much just saying I'm the same whether we're in here or not. So
Yeah.
like they're like, yeah, I'm used to it.
And I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and he was asking me if he would like the show or not. I was like, "Do you like me?" It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Then you'll like the show."
There you go.
Like,
yeah,
it's really,
I tried some because it's weird because my friends that listen to the show aren't super into sports,
Yeah.
but they enjoy hanging out with me, obviously. So I'm like, you don't have to know what we're talking about; just enjoy the show.
You mean so they probably didn't like my 20-minute monologue to open the show on the Knicks winning the finals?
They probably don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, whether that is YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket, if you want to head over there and subscribe, you can watch the show on X _ Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app. If you need any help figuring out how to do that, just ask Jome. He can help you out.
He lives near Bofa. Right?
I know exactly where that's at.
Me too.
Yeah. I heard he was sick though. He's got ligma.
Shut up.
All right. Speaking of the Knicks are your 2025-2026 NBA Final champions. I know Pacer fans are sick, but you got to give credit where credit is due, and that was an excellent Knicks team that went on an all-time run. And there's a lot that I liked about the team. The redemption arc was there for really all these players. Jalen Brunson is a former second-round pick that was told he was too small to be a number one option on an NBA Finals team. The Mavericks didn't want to extend him, so he winds up in New York. And we were told that, having Jalen Brunson as your franchise centerpiece was supposed to be like trying to pull a massive luxury trailer with a Honda Civic. The experts said that the engine would blow out in May, and instead, Jalen Big Body Brunson turned out to be a souped-up monster truck that just ran over the entire league, including a 7'4" alien. Karl Anthony Towns was deemed as a soft, losing player when he was in Minnesota, but he was vital to the Knicks' playoff success. OG Anunoby fell outside of the lottery, and the Raptors traded him away because they didn't want to pay him. And he's just developed into an awesome NBA player who hit multiple big shots in the finals. He averaged 20 points per game in the playoffs. Mikal Bridges was traded for 5 first-round picks. And whenever he was brought up, people would say, he's not worth 5 first-round picks. And now, he absolutely is worth 5. Okay, Josh Hart was a guy who was averaging 20 points a game over in Portland and was able to look himself in the mirror and say, you know what? If I'm averaging 20 points a game, that means I'm on a bad team. So he left. And his willingness to do the dirty work is really cool to see. And you have to love when a player buys into his role like Mitchell Robinson has done off the bench. And he did a great job holding his own in his minutes. Jose Alvarado was surprisingly influential in his minutes during the series. Jordan Clarkson went from an off-the-bench 6th Man of the Year candidate who didn't win anything in Utah or L.A., and now he's a guy who just does the dirty work and rebounds and guards. Every great movie needs its glamorous A-list stars, but the Knicks won a championship because their stars had excellent stunt doubles. These guys were diving into car crashes and jumping off buildings so Jalen Brunson could do what he did late in games. By the way, Mike Brown got fired in Sacramento for telling the truth about De'Aaron Fox, and he just responded by winning a title in his first year as De'Aaron Fox once again made pivotal playoff mistakes. There's a lot to like about this Knicks team. The problem is their fans suck. How about you don't destroy a bus after winning the NBA Finals? Why don't you just be normal? Jump up and down. Say yippee. I'm just kidding. That's not normal. I don't know anyone who says yippee. But seriously, yeah, just be normal. Okay? Celebrate like normal people. All right? Speaking of normal, Jalen Brunson was anything but normal in Game 5. He was incredible, fully deserved the Finals MVP. He scored 45 points. The rest of his team combined to score 49. And he just went at everybody. Like the play where he just isolates Wemby, blows by him, bumps him off, hesitates, and then finishes with the right hand. It was like, it's just just an incredible. Oh, okay, nice. Just incredible stuff from Jalen Brunson. But again, like he went at everyone and he got whatever he wanted. Okay, he figured the Spurs out after Game 2. In Games 1 and 2, Jalen Brunson averaged 25 points a game on 34% shooting from the field, 23% from three, and 88% shooting from the foul line. In his last 3 games, he averaged 38 points a game on 48% shooting from the field, 52% shooting from three, and 85% shooting from the foul line. Now, the one thing that didn't seem to matter for Brunson, no matter the game, was in the final 2 minutes, he found a way to push the Knicks over the hump. Every game was the same. I was laughing Saturday night with about 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, because if you had watched the other 4 games in the series, you could see the signs that the Knicks were going to walk the Spurs down and win in the final 2 minutes, just like they'd done in 3 of the first 4 games. Watching the Spurs in the fourth quarter of Game 5 was like watching a classic horror movie. You see the teenage girl running away. You see the monster moving at a slow, methodical pace. And you just know how it's going to end. The Spurs kept tripping over their shoelaces with bad possessions, and New York just slowly and inevitably walked them down and won. All the signs were there. The Spurs were relying on De'Aaron Fox instead of Dylan Harper, and then De'Aaron Fox continued to brick pull-up jumpers. They got away from giving Victor Wembanyama the ball on offense, and they were taking a lot of threes. Those were the 3 things they fell into in every game that they blew a lead in. Sure enough, it would go on to be their demise as well, because you have to have a closer. That was the difference in the series. Both teams played excellent defense. Both teams had foul trouble that impacted some of the decisions that were made throughout the series. Stephon Castle getting in foul trouble, Karl Anthony Towns fouling out completely at Game 5. I thought both coaches did a really nice job for the most part. I'll never understand why Mitch Johnson kept going to De'Aaron Fox. Harper had it going. Outside of that, I thought both teams were really well coached. But Brunson's ability to create against tough defenses late in games is why the Knicks won, and it's why he's the Finals MVP. Every time the Knicks needed a basket, he was the guy who got it. Or he created the chance for someone else to score. That's what a Finals MVP does. Kevin Durant said it best. Basketball is not about defense. Basketball is about getting buckets. The difference in the series wasn't the Knicks or the Spurs defense. If that was the difference, then the Spurs probably would have won. But it wasn't. Because basketball is about buckets, and Jalen Brunson was the best bucket getter in that series. And it's why the Knicks won, and it's why they went 16-3 in the playoffs. And you know, the haters are already out. We are revising history already because no one likes the Knicks, and I get it. I don't like them either. But let's not act like no one picked the Spurs before the series started. They were the favorites. The majority of the people picked them. During the Western Conference Finals, we heard so much about how whoever won the West was going to win the NBA Finals. I said that a couple times, and then I watched the Knicks, and I changed my mind, and I took them in 6. Little pat on the back there. Sorry. You know, that didn't happen, though, in terms of whoever won the West was going to win the Finals, because the Knicks are a legitimately great team. They are one of the best playoff teams ever. The Knicks were a deserving champion who did not benefit from weak opponents. That's what everyone's saying. They were just dominant. 16-3 in the playoffs. They won 13 playoff games in a row. Like that is one of the most dominant records ever. The 3 games that they lost in the playoffs, they lost by a combined 6 points. They had the largest margin of victory in playoff history. Oh, they didn't play anybody. That's just not true. The 76ers beat Boston. Many people, including me, thought the Celtics would win the East. And the 76ers beat them on the road in Game 7. The Hawks took more games off the Knicks than anyone else did, so they were no slouch. The Cavaliers have a good team. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals after beating the 1-seeded Detroit Pistons, who won 60 regular season games, and the Cavaliers beat a tough Raptors team in round 1. Then the Spurs were the betting and fan favorite in the series. They all got crushed because they ran into one of the best playoff teams we've ever seen. 16-3 in the playoffs is tied for the 9th best record ever. The 8 teams in front of them are obviously the 16-17 Warriors with Kevin Durant. They have the best record ever at 16-1. After that, it's the 2000-2001 Lakers at 15-1. The 82-83 Sixers at 12-1. The 1949-1950 Minneapolis Lakers at 11-2. By the way, I don't know why the Lakers get to claim that title when it was won in Minneapolis. Anyway, I digress. The 1998-1999 San Antonio Spurs at 15-2. The 1990-1991 Chicago Bulls at 15-2. The 1988-89 Pistons at 15-2. The 1981-82 Lakers at 12-2. The 1970-71 Bucks at 12-2. And the Knicks are tied with the 2023-2024 Boston Celtics at a record of 16-3 in the playoffs. The Knicks' 16-3 record is better than the 95-96 Bulls that won 72 games in the regular season, the best team ever. The Knicks' 16-3 playoff record is better than the 86-87 Lakers, one of the best teams of all time. It's also better than the 85-86 Celtics, another one of the best teams of all time. All 3 of those teams did not perform as well in the playoffs as the New York Knicks did. Now, this is not an all-time Knicks team because they, were the 3 seed, but it's an all-time playoff run that was headlined by the one and only Jalen Brunson. I don't like the Knicks, but as a basketball fan, you have to have watched them and realized how great that team was. So, congratulations to New York. Can't wait to play you in the Eastern Conference Finals next year, where the Pacers will likely send you home for the 3rd time in a row. All right.
Are you worried about Giannis potentially going to Miami at all? And do you think Miami would be a deep competitor in the playoffs?
If he goes to Miami, not worried. Because in order for Miami to get him, they're going to have to part ways with probably Norman Powell and Andrew Wiggins and Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have to gut the best parts of their team in order to get him. Whereas for Boston, that is not the case. They send Jaylen Brown, maybe a pick, if even that. And that's it. And so they still have Derek White and they still have Jason Tatum and Kata and so on. So if he goes to Miami, not really worried. But if he goes to Boston, absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. So there it is. You know what I'm not worried about?
Bofa.
No. I'm not worried about Australia at 3:00 on Friday. U.S. men's national team dominated Paraguay 4-1 on Friday night. And look, the U.S. men's national team, it was just a master class. The way that they dismantled Paraguay. Christian Pulisic looked every bit like Captain America before his halftime exit, while Folarin Balogun proved he might be the elite striker the United States have been looking for. I'll talk about this dangerous U.S. men's national team in 3 minutes.
The best takes. Maybe. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
All right, the World Cup is going on. Spain being held to a draw against some country I've never heard of. Incredible stuff. The country was a plus 2,200 underdog. Let me pull up their name. Let me quit being disrespectful. Cape Verde. They were plus 2,200 to win the match. It was plus 1,100 to draw, and they drew Spain. Pretty incredible stuff there from them as the World Cup just continues sprinting along 4 games today. It's awesome. We love it when there's a sporting event going on during the show. But how about the U.S. men's national team just dominating Paraguay in their first match? That is the best I've seen them play in my lifetime. The amount of precision that they played with was incredible. Usually watching the U.S. men's national team is a stressful and chaotic experience that ends badly. You know, it's like watching someone try to assemble IKEA furniture without the instructions. But against Paraguay, it was a masterclass. They looked like, a veteran pit crew executing a flawless 4-second tire change. Complete harmony, total precision. And they made a good team, because that's what Paraguay is, look like they were standing still. They made the game look easy. And my favorite thing about watching them play on Friday night was how they played. Like, the ball was always around their best players. And, that sounds like such a simple thing, but I remember watching 4 years ago when Greg Berhalter was the manager of Team USA. And, the ball was never at Christian Pulisic's feet. It never was. Meanwhile, Friday night, it absolutely was. Chris Richards, USA's best defender, one of the best defenders in the world, always seemed to be the one making decisions on how they'd start their attack out of the back. Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, Mark Tillman, Christian Pulisic, Folarin Balogun all seemed to either have the ball at their feet or they were doing something to threaten the defense, making a threatening run, showing a good cut, moving the defense. It was impressive. So impressive. And then when Pulisic came off at halftime, Team USA was like, that's fine. We're just going to give you a heavier dose of Anthony Robinson and Sergio Dest, who both played spectacularly. They were both awesome. I mean, Sergio Dest especially. But no one was better than Christian Pulisic was. He was incredible. I hate that his calf got nicked in the first half because he was in spectacular form. Okay, that's why he was pulled out at halftime. In the first half, though, he completely lived up to that nickname, Captain America. Every time he got the ball, he made something happen. He created their first 2 goals. He only got 1 assist because they don't give you assists on own goals. But he created that first score for Team USA. He beat everyone off the dribble. The first goal where he split 2 defenders was insane. It looked like the equivalent of Dwayne Wade splitting a double team in his prime. That is the player that we were promised. One that can win one-on-one and create chances for his teammates. Okay, he's not some prolific goal scorer. That's not who he is, but he's great at setting up the opportunities. And he passed the ball well, and he was super aggressive when he had the opportunities to be. He could not have played a better 45 minutes than what he did on Friday. And that has to continue if the U.S. men's national team wants to reach the round of 16 for the first time since 2002. Okay? Pulisic has to keep creating, and Folarin Balogun has to keep finishing. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But Balogun might just be the striker we've been waiting for. Might just be. So shout out to the people who didn't let his mother fly home. For those who don't know, Balogun grew up in London, grew up playing for Arsenal. He was in their kids clubs and all those things. And his parents are Nigerian. He's only a U.S. citizen because his mother came here for vacation and they wouldn't let her board the plane because she was too pregnant. So she had to stay in Brooklyn until she had her son. And since he was born in the United States, he is a citizen. And he chose to play for us over Nigeria and England. So I'm glad he did. Striker has always been the weak link in the United States attack. And it looks like they got one. It looks like they got a really good one, finally. So he's big, he's fast, he's tough, and he can finish on either foot. He's a fiery guy, too, which I appreciate, which you need that sometimes. You need guys who will kind of push back and bite back and do those things, like Paraguay late in that game. Things are getting a little chippy. Paraguay's probably like a little dirty, a little overly physical, and you need guys that'll kind of push back against that, and Balogun absolutely did. And so I had a blast watching him. This has the potential to be the best U.S. men's national team we've ever seen. And I think a lot of it has to do with finally having an elite striker in the middle who can finish all the chances created. Because when you look at Team USA, I mean, the wingers are really good. Your right and left backs are really good. The midfielders between Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie and, Gio Reyna off the bench are all very talented. These are all like European players. So I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself. I'm trying not to get overly excited. But this is a very talented team, and I thought that they played really well on Friday. And also, like, the bench is good. They're bringing guys that play in Europe off the bench. Tim Weah started for the United States in the last World Cup. He's coming off the bench now. Gio Reyna is incredibly talented as well. If you need proof, go rewatch that goal he scored to close the game on Friday night. Outside foot, just stupid stuff. Stupid stuff. This team's fun. And I can't wait to watch them play again on Friday when they take on Australia, who also won their match. So each team is sitting atop the table in the group. So big match on Friday. And I'm very torn. Because I obviously I want Team USA to win. If they won their group, that would be really cool. But as we talked about on Friday, the path of least resistance for Team USA to, make it to the round of 8 or the quarterfinals for the first time in 24 years is for them to finish second. Because if they finish second, then they probably play Egypt or Iran in the round of 32, and then, which they're better than both of those teams. And then if that happens, they would then be on the side of the bracket with all the other teams that finish second in their group. Whereas if you finish first in your group, you get an easier round of 32 game, but then you're playing against all the giants. You're getting France, you're getting Spain, you're getting Belgium, who finished third in 2018 in the World Cup. You might get Norway. We'll see. Then you're dealing with Holland, the Derrick Henry of soccer. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Chris, after having watched a little bit of soccer in studio today, are you more interested than you were last week?
I'm going to watch about 10 minutes of it instead of 5 now.
Hey, so you're twice as interested.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, it's I have more respect for it. I'm getting to learn a little bit of it. It's still probably not something I would like aim to go watch, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
What if you could like watch a game in Europe? Like you're on vacation, you're in England, and you can go to a Premier League soccer game. Would you want to go?
Absolutely. That experience has to be nuts.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Can't sell they don't sell alcohol at those games because fans get too rowdy.
I could see that. Lots of tailgate happening, you think?
I don't know if they tailgate.
Like those you've seen the taller boys that Coors Light has or something like that. It's like crazy. But I think they just pour multiple cans in there. But anyway, I can't imagine what the partying would be like in that atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
unreal.
Absolutely. But they AI for a commercial. Look at that. Sorry.
Surprised.
Anyway, there's a Bet 365 commercial. That was weird. Anyway. They get like I'm very curious, like if they're selling alcohol at the World Cup games.
It doesn't look like I didn't really notice anybody in the crowd having that sort of drink. But are you looking it up right now?
I am.
I mean, you would imagine in LA, SoFi Stadium's not going to have any event where they can't sell beer at least.
Okay. So it is being sold, but it is under strict rules apparently. Like you can only have it in certain areas. It doesn't look like you can take it back to your seat. You have to like stay in certain places.
Interesting.
Probably a good call. Because I think we're the best trash talking country in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody messes with us in that regard. Could you imagine Draymond Green being at one of these games?
Right.
We beat England. Well, I mean, if we beat England in soccer and there were like drunk American fans and there were drunk British fans, I mean, we've seen that movie before about 250 years ago. So I think we know how that fight would go.
Be more action in the crowd than there would be on the field. You know what I mean? I think like you have Australia and United States next Friday, and it would be awesome if this Friday, sorry.
Yeah.
They would have like, Budweiser versus Foster's Australian for beer. Remember that? But if they had like different countries' beers in each of the stadiums, that'd be pretty cool. Now, this is like the flag presentation thing, right? That they're doing right here. They're getting ready to do the national anthem. And
yeah.
Okay.
It's cool.
Another games are getting ready to start for those of you who are not watching Fox right now. But
Belgium and Egypt match of the day, according to the real Jonathan Smith show. Real quick before we get to what we learned today, Otter Creek. I meant to answer your question earlier. Something on do you think Ronaldo can still have a significant impact for Portugal as he washed? I don't know if it'll be significant. But like players that are older always have good feel, and like he'll know where to be in the box. Like if he scored off of a deflection or something, like that would make sense to me. But if they're like, we're gonna run our offense through Ronaldo, that's probably not the best plan of attack for Portugal. So yes, I think he'll score at some point. He'll become the first player ever to score in 6 different World Cups. That'll be cool. But if he's their best player, then that's probably not good for Portugal. With that being said, Chris, what did we learn today?
All right, class. What did we learn today?
There was so much that we learned today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show. It was really hard to choose the best ones. But I will say, here's what we learned today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show. When Jonathan plays his friends in sports, it's safe to assume that he really doesn't win all the time.
In pickleball, I do.
Okay. We'll let you believe that. Our arenas and stadiums would be a lot cleaner if some of the Colts or Pacers helped us pick up the trash after the game.
There you go.
We would love a Ninja Turtles themed place, restaurant in Indiana, but not a Scooby-Doo themed restaurant with mystery food. That'd be scary. Yesterday's UFC fight at the White House was something straight out of the movie Idiocracy, and the term struggle snuggle is not an actual move in UFC fighting. Birthday parties that Jonathan goes to are way more than just sitting around and eating cake and opening presents.
Oh, yes.
Very exciting. A crossover in soccer is called a nutmeg. Did not know that.
Yeah.
And the World Cup trophy is really just a big piece of chocolate wrapped in foil. That's what we learned today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show.
There you go. Great stuff today, man. We also learned who Joam is. That was fun.
Yeah. I mean, we already knew, but we just got reminded.
And yeah.
Thanks for that.
And Chris got invited to line dancing. He said not this week, but maybe next, which is a respectable answer.
Next week for sure. Yeah. Let's plan.
For sure. Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Chris is going line dancing. Let's get it, man.
Woohoo!
That'll be a great time. All right. That's going to do it here.
Banjo's ready.
That's right.
Ella
Ella Langley, let's go. Let's get it going. Thank you for tuning into the show, no matter how you tuned in. YouTube, X, the Indie Sports Ticket app, 14:30 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk more World Cup. We'll talk more Pacers. We'll talk more Colts. We'll probably do a little bit of NBA draft stuff as well. Going to be a great show. Hoping to get Jared Dubin on to talk about his Knicks winning the finals. All that tomorrow, starting at noon. We're giving away more Holiday World tickets as well. We'll talk to you tomorrow, starting at noon. See ya.